This is actually kind of shocking. We have breaking news this morning. The director of national intelligence has stated there is no intelligence that supports the claim the Hunter Biden story is a Russian intelligence operation, flying in the face of what CNN and Adam Schiff are trying to push out. The actual director of a national intelligence says, nuh-uh. We've got more emails dropping from One American News. Apparently there's another laptop. The story is going crazy. And in response, this is what freaked me out. Joe Biden is going into hiding. No joke. According to Joe Concha, the Biden campaign has called a lid until Thursday. This is a reporter from The Hill. Matthew Colkin responds, seriously? And he says, yup. Wow. And this is only a couple hours before the DNI said it is not a Russian intelligence operation. We have a bunch of news surrounding what's going on with the Hunter Biden email story. Notably that One American News has said they've got 26,000 emails they're going to be dropping, teasing out something about, I don't know, they're arguing about Heinz versus Hunt's ketchup. Sure, whatever. But I can't believe it. I got to stress this. Joe Biden calling a lid until Thursday. What? We are 2 weeks out from the presidential election, and Joe Biden is going into hiding. Okay, what it means calling a lid until Thursday. He is going to be unavailable the entire week. You know why? Because they're going to start asking about the emails. Because it now appears we have confirmed evidence that Joe Biden used his son as an intermediary to profit from foreign investment. I'm not going to talk about this Ukraine stuff. Ukraine, schmookraine. CNN has Brian Sutter coming out saying, this is Trump's whataboutism. Bro, if a story comes out where it's like, hey, look at these emails, and you go, but what about Trump's corruption? Trump just uses whataboutism. That's you whatabouting. I've talked about Donald Trump, Ivanka made money. I've talked about how Trump was having U.S. Military personnel stay at his golf resorts and the arguments for and against Trump wanting to use Doral. I've talked about all of it. And now we're talking about Joe Biden. So don't give me that whataboutism. We're not talking about Ukraine right now. We're talking about Joe Biden flying his son on Air Force Two to China for a private equity deal. And then, this is a separate deal. Just consider that information. That happened. In another deal, Hunter Biden, there's this email saying 10 held by H for the big guy. Apparently now, we have confirmation the big guy refers to Joe Biden. Fox News reached out to people on that email chain who confirmed the email is real. This is not about Ukraine. This is not about Burisma. Oh, we can talk about all of that stuff too, because if you ask me, Joe Biden is crooked as they come. But with the CEFC deal, CEFC, Joe Biden appears to have received or was about to receive serious equity. Now, something else is really funny that's been pointed out by people is that Joe Biden's income when he was VP was several $100,000. And then almost immediately after, it went up to like millions, 16 million or so. And people said, how did that happen? You can't get paid for the favors until the investment vests, as it were. When you're in office, you can't take cash from the foreign interests and the private companies you're a shill for. It's too obvious. But once you leave, it's legal for them to return the favor and hire you. That's how it works, right? I got this tweet from Matt Walsh I thought was actually pretty smart. He said, the smartest move for the Biden camp would be to admit the emails are real, confess to whatever else might be on the laptops, have Hunter Biden give a tearful apology, claim that Joe was just trying to be a good dad, and then hope that voters forget about this in 2 weeks. Their current strategy of stalling and being silent and dragging this out is definitely the worst possible approach. But what do I know? Joe Biden going into hiding. Now, of course, I'll be fair. I'm framing it that way as a framing thing. Joe Biden's calling a lid until Thursday. We have no idea why. In my opinion, we just had this story drop. Ratcliffe says Hunter Biden laptop emails not part of some Russian disinformation campaign. There is no intelligence that supports that. Director of National Intelligence Ratcliffe says. So which is it? Is it the Obama administration who are the stooges and the cronies, the corrupt? But they were the heroes to the left, the good guys just trying to stop the evil and corrupt Trump before he ever even actually took office. Or is it Ratcliffe who's secretly working for Donald Trump or the hero? It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. You want to make tribalist arguments. I don't care. The director of national intelligence made a statement. Occam's razor. What are you going to do about it? This is nuts because CNN has been pushing this insane narrative. Byron York says on CNN, Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff says the New York Post Hunter Biden story comes from the Kremlin. Anchor seems to agree. Would be more persuasive if they provided evidence that one, the story is false, and two, it comes from the Kremlin. Wolf Blitzer says, this is Blitzer. Federal authorities, including the FBI, are investigating whether recently published emails that purport to detail, the business dealings of Joe Biden's son Hunter are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort targeting the Biden campaign. Fart. Let's discuss with the chairman of the House. Adam Schiff says, well, we know this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now, that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son. The China deal? Okay, let's play a game. Let's say the Ukraine stuff is bunk. Let's say Ukraine, all of it. Oh, it is Russia. Oh. Why did Joe Biden fly his son to China on Air Force Two for a private equity deal? Why did he do that? Why is Joe Biden's son using government resources for his private business? Oh, what was that? You said Donald Trump? You want to have a conversation about Trump's resorts? I did. Remember in those videos when I talked about it? Yeah. The news story right now isn't Donald Trump's golf resorts and the Air Force staying at one of his resorts in Scotland, which I did question. And when Trump wanted to have the G7 at Trump Doral, I said conflict of interest, bad move, and Trump eventually backed down from this. You want to talk about Ivanka getting patents in China? Of course. Sure. We talk about it when it happens. Stop playing stupid games. Okay, if I want to be critical of Trump and what he's doing with his family, sure. But Joe Biden right now is the breaking news. And Donald Trump, when it came to the golf resorts, he straight up, he addressed it. Not perfectly, not well. I don't like it. I think it is a conflict of interest. And I can understand people argue, because Trump was saying this recently, that we saved the government so much money. Yeah, look, I get it. It's true. You did. But you still receive money from the government. And I'm not a fan of that. So we can talk about it when that story breaks. And I'll tell you what, I'm more than happy to. And I have. Right now, we're talking about Joe Biden. Oh, you're saying, why is it coming out in October? Well, duh, maximum political effect. It's just before an election. I'm not happy about that either. Don't play games with me. Joe Biden is crooked. His son is crooked. We know they're crooked. And coming at me with the timing, the source, the Russia, and the Trump is meaningless trash I don't care about. I've already talked about all of those things in other videos. Now's the time when you have to answer for Joe Biden. Look at this garbage. It's actually Russia. Well, sorry, Adam Schiff. You lied and you lied about Russiagate with Trump, and there was no evidence to back that up. Worst case scenario for Trump, he obstructed justice, and he couldn't be indicted because he's a sitting president. There was no determination made. Now, I wonder if Mueller could have said, well, we determined he did obstruct, but we can't indict him. He didn't say that either. No determination. It is not an exoneration. That's slimy. The investigators don't exonerate, but I tell you this right now. You want to come out and play these stupid games again? Adam Schiff, we know you lied. We know these other people were going on TV, Brennan, for instance, and they were lying about Russia. In private, in secure hearings where they were under oath, all of a sudden, oh, I actually don't have any evidence. I don't know anything. Yeah, it's a dirty game. Check this out. Fox News. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe on Monday said that Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign, amid claims from House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff suggesting otherwise. Ratcliffe, during an exclusive interview on Fox Business Mornings with Maria, was asked about the allegations from Schiff, who over the weekend said the Hunter Biden emails suggesting Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden had knowledge of or was allegedly involved in his son's foreign business dealings. Quote, it's funny that some of the people who complain the most about intelligence being politicized are the ones politicizing the intelligence, Ratcliffe said. Unfortunately, it is Adam Schiff who said the intelligence community believes the Hunter Biden laptop and emails are on it are part of a Russian disinformation campaign. He added, let me be clear. The intelligence community doesn't believe that because there is no intelligence that supports that. And we have shared no intelligence with Adam Schiff or any member of Congress. Ratcliffe went on to say, it is simply not true. Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign, Ratcliffe said, adding that this is not part of some... What? He said it again. Ratcliffe's comments come after House Intelligence Committee Adam Schiff over the weekend said they came from the Kremlin, which I showed you. We know this all smear, blah, blah, blah. Ratcliffe went on to say the laptop is in the jurisdiction of the FBI. The FBI has had possession of this without commenting on any investigation that they may or may not have had. Their investigation is not centered around Russian disinformation, and the intelligence community is not playing any role with respect to that. He added, the intelligence community has not been involved in Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, let me stop you right there and ask you a question. Why not? Why am I seeing these stories where they're investigating whether or not this is part of foreign disinformation? You know what? I think you're full of it. You know why? Because Ratcliffe came out and said that's not true. So what's the source for all this information? Look, if the director of national intelligence says it ain't happening, why would I believe an unnamed source saying it is? Why would I believe Adam Schiff? That guy was wrong about everything. And he's probably lying. Why would I believe it? Well, I don't. I think these emails are legit. And I'll tell you what. I've had people say, I've had Trump supporters ask me this. Let me tell you let me tell you what people are saying. This laptop emerges. It's got all these emails on it. And they look, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden look really bad, seemingly providing enough evidence to at least warrant a legit FBI investigation into Joe Biden's crooked crony dealings. Not Joe, not Hunter, Joe. We don't get it, though. Maybe we will. I doubt we will. And everyone says, but where did the laptop come from? Is it verified? What do you mean, is it verified? That's what I like. What, did the New York Times verify Trump's taxes? No. At least here we actually have the emails. New York Times doesn't publish anything. So if I'm going to take anyone's word for it, Occam's razor. We'll suggest the New York Post story is probably legitimate. There could be errors for sure, but I doubt it. So then you end up with them saying, well, maybe somebody hacked the emails, Russia, put them on a laptop, dropped them off. I hear that idea. I do. Because it's an easy way to launder hacked information. Except Occam's razor would suggest the simple solution is Hunter Biden spilled beer on his laptop. We've all done it. Broken a laptop, spilled it, beer on it, dropped it in the bath, whatever it is you're doing. I don't know. And then he went to a repair guy, and he's rich. He bought a new laptop and forgot. And then the dude had it, gave it to the FBI. The FBI didn't do anything, gave it to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. And there you go. I think he gave it to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. It's funny because Rudy Giuliani is a lawyer for the president. He says, they go on to say, a senior Trump administration official told Fox News the FBI was not investigating the emails as Russian disinformation. So you've got the DNI and now a Fox source. The FBI declined to comment or deny the existence of an investigation as is standard practice. Meanwhile, the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee is investigating Hunter Biden's emails, which reveal that he introduced his father, the former vice president, to a top executive at Burisma. So these are all different stories. Ratcliffe, you've got Ukraine, you've got China. Ratcliffe went on to say that his role as director of national intelligence, which he assumed earlier this year, is to not allow people to leverage the intelligence community for a political narrative. That's not true. In this case, Adam Schiff saying this is part of a disinformation campaign and that the intelligence community has assessed and believes that is simply not true. Whether it's Republicans or Democrats, if they try to leverage the intelligence community for political gain, I won't allow it. Well, the New York Times is trying desperately to cover up for Joe Biden. Check it out. New York Post published Hunter Biden report amid newsroom doubts. Some reporters withheld their bylines and questioned the credibility of an article that made the tabloid's front page on Wednesday. I love this story. Watch this. Here's what it says. Bruce Golding, a reporter at the Rupert Murdoch-owned tabloid since 2007, did not allow his byline to be used because he had concerns over the article's credibility, the two Post employees said, speaking on the condition of anonymity out of fear of retaliation. Let me just stop you right there and explain to you first what's a byline. It is the line that says by and their name. So you can see right here. The story says by Katie Robertson. The story is by Katie Robertson. That's her byline. All right. Bruce Golding had his byline withheld because he had concerns over the article's credibility. If you wrote the article, why would you be concerned about its credibility? Talk about stupid. You can't. Is this a joke? I know I wrote the article, but I'm questioning my own credibility, so let's remove my name from it. Okay, maybe he contributed by, like, I don't know, looking up someone's phone number and they were going to give him a byline. And I don't know about that. That story seems weird. It's possible that his contributions to the article did not reach the level of the actual emails. Fine, whatever. In which case, maybe he's withholding his byline because he didn't have anything to do with the reporting. You see how they frame this? How they lie. Two unnamed sources say, oh, yeah, I have a source who tells me the moon is made out of cheese. Does that make it true? No. And why should I trust you, New York Times, when you are questioning the New York Post, who actually published emails and photos, really nasty ones, and you offer no evidence at all? If we're going to play a game called Who Do I Trust? I'm going to trust a guy who's got at least some evidence. And it's not you, New York Times. I think it's hilarious that a reporter would work on a story and then question the credibility of his own story. Unless, of course, he shouldn't have been included as a byline anyway, in which case this makes literally no sense. Many Post staff members questioned whether the paper had done enough to verify the authenticity. Fart. The article named two sources, Bannon, and who's now facing fraud charges. You see how they poisoned the well? And Rudy Giuliani. I don't care. We got a laptop. We got emails. Let's talk about it. You can't play this game. I'm sorry, it won't work. Well, check this out. Steve Bannon says, the Joe meeting happened. The emails are correct, and Joe took 10% equity. Bannon says everything reported in Hunter laptop scandal is true and reveals how lawyer for Biden's son tried to get the hard drive back, proving it's no Russian intelligence operation. In an interview, I think this was on Sky News in Australia. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it was Sky News. Bannon was asked about this, and he says, we haven't put this out yet, but yeah. Apparently, they got contacted by Hunter Biden's lawyer saying, can we have the laptop back? That's right. Hunter Biden. Listen, let me ask you a question. What do you think's more likely? That there is a grand operation involving foreign intelligence like Russia to create fake emails or hack emails from Hunter Biden, put them on a laptop with a Biden sticker on it, splash it with water, bring it secretly to a repair shop where they purposefully forget about it. So that way, the pro-Trump shop owner would give it to Bannon and Rudolph Giuliani and smear them just in time for the election. Or keep that story in mind. Here's the other narrative. Hunter Biden is an addict. And with all due respect, I'm not trying to drag him over it, but it does create problems for an individual. He's an addict, crack addict. And he was, tripping balls and on something. Spilled some beer, was all whacked out of his mind, and then dropped it off and forgot about it. Yeah, I think Occam's razor would suggest that the dude who's on as a photo of him, or appears to be a photo of him, with a crack pipe in his mouth, likely forgot about his laptop. Isn't that simple? The dude's rich. He easily bought a new one. He's drugged out of his mind. And again, I'm not trying to drag him for that. I'm just pointing out, when you do drugs like this, it affects your memory. Probably just forgot about it and didn't care. And now his lawyer wants it back. They screwed this one up. And now we're going to get all these emails because apparently, Jack Posobiec is saying it begins. Check this out. Matthew Tierman says one string of 26,740. Lots more coming. Jack says it begins. Full video to come. We are editing through the night. That was 9 hours ago. Stands to reason that One America News and Jack are going to be releasing a lot of information. We have this story. You are not going to see the end of Trump, Steve Bannon says. President Trump will run again in 2024 if he loses the upcoming election. Well, I hope y'all are ready for a roller coaster ride, because if you think these stories are crazy, just wait. If Trump loses, I'm actually not convinced he will. I'm not. I think Trump's going to win. But I'm not here to suggest or make any hard predictions. I'm leaning towards a Trump victory, and I'll tell you why. The emails. I really do think this is going to hurt Joe Biden. But a lot of the people who are coming out to vote are doing it from a point of Trump derangement syndrome, which means you can't convince them at all. A lesser percentage are fervent pro-Trump zealots. The pro-Trump zealot base is actually not that big compared to what the media would have you believe. They often say it's 35% of the country or whatever. No. The actual group of people who are diehard Trump zealots is much, much, much smaller. What I mean by diehard Trump zealots, I'm talking about people who refuse to listen to anything and believe everything. It's actually a really small group. However, the Trump derangement syndrome people, it's actually a pretty big group. These people are nuts. They'll believe anything, if it's bad against Trump. And then you have the Trump zealots who will believe anything if it's good for Trump or bad for his enemies. In reality, and it's been true for a while, the Democratic Party is bigger than the Republican Party, but moderates who vote Republican will end up pushing the electorate for pushing these Republican candidates into victory. Could you imagine what it's going to be like if Trump loses, though? We're going to have 4 years of still complaining about Trump and then another Trump election. Maybe that's what's going to happen. I mean, the news outlets need it. They need Trump. They want Trump to be out of power, but they want him to still be a figure in American politics. So maybe that's it. But I'll tell you why I think he's going to win. Pennsylvania. Right now, early voting tracking looks really bad for Republicans. It looks really good for Democrats. However, Democrats are underperforming based on the amount we expected to see in terms of early voting and mail-in votes, which suggests that, it just suggests, it doesn't mean it's true, we don't know what's going to happen, that if they're underperforming now, Republicans will take a slight lead in key battleground states. We don't know for sure. In Pennsylvania, however, it's really bad for Republicans. But when I see that, I can't imagine Trump losing Pennsylvania. I can't. Sorry. Joe Biden has called for banning fracking, getting rid of it. No new federal licenses for fracking. He's called, Kamala Harris has said she would ban it. Now they're trying to backpedal. But that doesn't matter. I mean, the Boilermakers Union just came out the other day saying Biden lied. They never endorsed him. They endorsed Trump. You look at these stories, I can't imagine a scenario in which Joe Biden actually wins. But he could. He could. I'll tell you why. While we're seeing this fight over the authenticity of the Biden email scandal and all that stuff, I bring you now, not this one. This is the wrong story. I bring you this one from Glenn Greenwald. Facebook and Twitter cross a line far more dangerous than what they censor. Just weeks before the election, the tech giants unite to block access to incriminating reporting about their preferred candidate. That's the scenario in which possibly Joe Biden wins. The machine, the billionaires. You want to know what's funny? The other day, I got the segment coming up for 1 p.m. Free speech rally, anti-censorship, challenging big tech billionaires. And Antifa showed up and punched a guy in the face, knocking out his teeth. Why is Antifa defending the billionaires? Makes no sense, does it? But Bernie Sanders says the billionaires. He didn't say the millionaires anymore. But the billionaires are funding Joe Biden. Why is Bernie Sanders telling you to vote for the candidate backed by the billionaires? Doesn't something seem off? Does to me. I think the emails are legit. I think they're crooked. And I think we're getting just a taste of what's to come in the next few weeks. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.